What we've got here is Master Graze Lean Beef Maker 530. It's a sterile corn. There will not be any grain production. It's going to look like conventional hybrid corn. You've got your tassel, you've got your ear with your silk, and the ears we shuck back here, there's no grain fill on them. That's what we're looking for. Got to be careful about pollination from other outside sources. This is about a 105-day variety. You need to plant it with at least a 3-week differential. More would be better. We found out that corn pollen drifts a lot of times a lot farther than a lot of people believe. We've seen some fields that it's been a half mile to other corn, and the end of the field closest to the hybrid corn field, the edge of the field got pollinated. The other end of the field, another quarter of a mile away from the pollinator field, did not get pollinated. There are some issues if you're in a heavy corn grown area, but this is for grazing corn or for silage. No grain, excellent for grass finishing. This stuff here was planted, I believe, about the 1st of July. We're here in northeast Nebraska. This is corn and soybean country, and corn does real well here for a 1st of July planting. This stuff looks really good. You want to plant it heavier than you would regular hybrid corn for grain. You want to plant in this area, pretty typical population might be 30,000 on irrigated, mid 20,000s for dry land. You probably want to be 20 to 30% higher than your typical planting rates. I think 30 to 40,000 range. You want to have it thick so the stalk doesn't get quite as big. Because there is no fill of grain on the ear, more of the nutrients stay in the plant. It doesn't translocate all those nutrients into the grain. So your plant has better feed value. The other thing is, this corn, the Lean Beef Maker 530, was bred for forage. It's got higher sugar levels, higher digestibility, a little higher in protein, and it's going to be more palatable and better feed value. When cattle come in here to graze this stuff, first thing they do is they come in and they pull these ears off and eat them. They come back and they try and get the tassel and all the ears, and then they'll take the stalk down. This stalk here, I would guess they're going to eat it down into this range pretty readily, and have the leaves all stripped off down to here and eat this portion up. Down here they'll strip the leaves off, and they will eat a lot of this if you force them to. Cattle you want to gain weight, you don't want to make them eat that. It's lower feed value, plus if there's any high nitrate levels, it's going to be in your lower 12 to 20 inches of the stalk. And so it's a good summer grazing option, especially for grass finishing. We've got some things to learn about when to plant it in relation to other hybrid seed corn that may need nearby that could possibly pollinate it. Officially, you probably need 600 feet of distance from other corn. That can depend on the weather. That can depend on trees blocking things. It can depend on the wind. A lot of variables. The other thing that some guys have done is tried to plant a short season corn at the same time as this. Say plant maybe a 90-day corn. What happens when you plant corn late in the season, say July, a 90-day corn and a 105-day corn aren't always going to have that 15 days difference in pollination. It's going to narrow. It may be less than a week. And even in regular hybrid corn for grain, 110, 115-day corn, some years may act like a 105-day corn, or it may act like a 120-day corn, depending on weather conditions, growing conditions. So we've got a lot to learn about how to make this work and where to plant it and how to manage it so we don't get any cross-pollination and get some kernels on here. A lot of cases, a few kernels aren't going to bother, but if you're in a grass finishing operation, You know, if it's cross-pollinated, you could have too much grain out there. And the general rule of thumb is, as long as that up to the blister stage of those kernels, there is no starch formation. After the blister stage, you need to quit grazing it if you want to stay, you know, with the grass finished label, because if you graze it after blister stage, there could be significant starch formation, and your animals could be disqualified.